trucking home. Arrows of neon and flashing marquees out on Main Street. Chicago, New York, Detroit, and it's all on the same street. A typical city involved in a typical daydream. Hang it up and see what tomorrow brings. Dallas.
Thank you. All right, so I am Kris Bullinger.
I'm Dan Bullinger.
We're with Olympic Truck Service in Olympia, Washington. Our drive story starts like 5 years ago when we bought our shop. I didn't work there then, but Dan and his dad did. And they are the kindest, nicest people you ever meet. They will buy anything from anyone. So I'm driving home from work and my job, and he's like, hey, and mind you, this is like the third time this has happened. We got a call from these people, and they're gonna help us out. And we didn't know how to run a shop. I was like, with what? He's like, with everything. They sound amazing. And I'm like, Dan, come on. And I was like, well, how much is it? And he's like, well, for the year, it's like $20,000. I'm like, do we have $20,000? He's like, I don't know. I'm not sure. Like, well, I don't know either. He's like, but it's weekly. It's okay. Like the tool truck, it's only like $29.99 a week for the rest of your life. So it's fine. So I was like, what? Fine, whatever. It's already signed. Just bring it home and I'll read it. It's all right. So he's like, oh, and in December we're going to LA because they have this class called Essentials of Shop Management, and that's supposed to teach us what we're supposed to do. I was like, okay, great, sounds great. So we go, and he's like, it's in Monrovia. I'm like, where's Monrovia? He's like, it's somewhere by LA, because, we're from the West Coast, but LA is just LA. Like, everywhere around it is LA. It's all the same. So we get there, and we're walking down the street in Monrovia, and there's these, Dickensian, carolers, like singing Christmas carols, in Charles Dickens outfits. I'm like, where are we? What is even, it was hilarious. I was like, this is great. It was great. Monrovia is adorable. For those of you who haven't been there, because they've been shut down for a little while, but you should definitely catch a class in Monrovia. It's great. So we go to the class, and Tony taught our Essentials of Shop Management, who's looking very rock and roll this year, by the way. And he was so jazzed about it. He's like, yeah, we're so happy you're here. And I'm like, thanks, Tony. All right. We're jazzed too. Yeah, let's do this. So it was 3 days, and he was jazzed the whole time. All the employees were excited. All of the shop owners were excited. So I think that really kind of changed our outlook on things. We kind of got a better idea of what Drive was all about and kind of what our path was going to be forward. That is when we met Andrea, who was not our consultant at the time, and David Celine, who spent 3 hours with us after class one day, mapping our future out on the back of a piece of paper, because we didn't know what to do. Dan had been a tech and I'd worked in business, but we didn't know what we were supposed
Mind you,
to do.
she still had a full-time job.
Right.
She wasn't even working at the shop.
So David's like, I think you guys can be a $5 million shop. I'm like, sure, okay, no problem. And we're not there yet, but we're getting there. We're 80% of the way there. So he and Andrea really kind of penciled out what we needed to do, how to get there, slowly. Obviously, we're not going to go from $1 million truck shop to $5 million overnight. We're 5 years in. We're on our way. But we're so excited to be here. We've worked so hard. We had so many changes. So many. Because we bought Olympic Truck from Dan's dad about 5.5 years ago. And it was straight out of 1989. The other Dan's shop is all, paperless. Our shop was like job jackets with like things stapled to them, and like everything was color coded. So it was like a lime green ticket, and then there's like stuff stapled on that and it was like taped to the job jacket. I was like, how do we even keep track of anything? Dan's like, I'm not sure, but we've always done it this way and it seems all right. I was like, okay, well that seems like something we should work on. So he was like, we need to look into full bay when we went to our first expo. So Dan got into a serious conversation with the full bay people, and a few months later, like 1 month later, we got full bay and we transitioned into that and haven't looked back, so we're also paperless, thank goodness. So yeah, that's kind of like our background history. But I'm trying to think of who else. Okay, who else do we want to thank? We thank Drea, David, Anna, who strong-armed us into getting here, because it's a 12-week master's program. Turns out Dan and I's attention span is about 8 weeks long. So she, the last 4 weeks, she's like, come on, you guys, just get the paperwork done. I was like, I don't want to, I can't do it anymore. She's like, you're so close. I'm like, I can't do any more. So that's when I handed our stats off to Dan, and he has been doing a great job ever since. And then Larry Monroe for teaching all of our classes. I saw him, I don't know where he went now though. Thank you. In 2020, so 2 months before COVID, I quit my real job and started working at the shop. So that was an experience. So it ended up being great. No, it did. We got through it. We never shut down. My philosophy on everything is always to ask for forgiveness later. So I decided we were going to run until somebody came in and told us we needed to shut down, and we didn't ever do that. So that was our team. So you may have heard some loud cheers. We brought about half of our team from our shops with us. We have 2 shops, a truck shop and a trailer shop. Everybody had the opportunity to come, but we have a bit of a motley crew, so some don't fly and some don't like crowds, and that's okay. They got, a PTO day today, and they were good with that. But I would just like to thank all of them. Shoot, I'm running out of time. Crap. Okay, so I have Scott here, who's our foreman at the trailer shop. He is like the high-tone attitude that everybody dreams about. Like whenever anything goes wrong, he's like, it's okay, bud, we'll just keep going. Like, it's okay. He calls everybody bud. It's great. John is our general manager. He keeps track of our scheduling, which is a nightmare. We have a lot going on, like most shops do, lots of different things. Trey is in parts and outside sales. He is not as pretty as the outside sales gal who was up last time, but he does such a good job. You're very handsome. Mike is our parts manager, also my brother-in-law. He does a great job of keeping us organized, and whenever I have questions about invoices, I'm like, hey, why did we spend $5,000 at Tacoma Screw this month? He's like, oh, I bought like 50 pairs of gloves for the guys. I'm like, all right, whatever. Josh is one of our technicians at the truck shop. He bills a lot of hours for us and does a great job. Jason and his kids are here. Jason is one of our A-techs, and he bills a lot of hours, helps out the C-techs. We really appreciate it. His kids come in sometimes in the summer. They're like our mascots. We also have a shop dog named Roxy, who's not present. Jackie, my sister-in-law, we are a family business. She does payroll and the books. We appreciate her so much. Dylan is Scott's son, who's our service advisor, and he has the same attitude as his dad. He's like, it's all right, we've got this, to all of our customers. My sister-in-law, Bree, doesn't work at the shop, but she does come sometimes to help organize my life because I have employees who like we've hired and then fired, and their employee files are still like a paper clipped on my desk with no file. Like they're just still sitting there. So she's like, this is the worst. You need to get this together. So she does that for me with the label maker. And then Pam, who couldn't come at the last minute, is our service advisor, and she is one of my favorite hires that we've made. She was a cocktail waitress in Reno for like 20 years. And I was like, that has everything we could need from a service advisor in a truck shop. Like, she doesn't take crap off of anybody. She is tough, she is smart, she's quick, and like her sense of humor is like that tough, fun, like we adore her. So I'm really bummed out that she couldn't make it, but Pam, we're thinking of you. Oh, and Emily. Sorry, I lost you in the middle. Emily is our tech. She's our first lady technician we've ever had. She is like almost 5 feet tall, and she is the best. She's such a spitfire, and we adore her. All right, is that things?
Yes.
All right, thank you so much.